Welcome to the Difference Makers Show. Imagine you have a treasure chest called LinkedIn that can help you build your business, but you don't have the key. How do you open that box to catapult your success? What do you do? What are the secrets you need to know? To answer those questions and more, today you'll meet a top LinkedIn expert, John James of Ignited Results. He'll share his insights, tips, and secrets in our program, Discover the Secrets to Client Attraction with LinkedIn. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the Difference Makers Show. I'm Lynn Sanders, your host, and I am so glad you're here. I'm excited to introduce you to our LinkedIn expert guest, John James of Ignited Results. And he's going to tell you some secrets that are going to help you build your business right now. The topic of our show today, again, is Discover the Secrets of LinkedIn, or Discover the Secrets to Client Attraction with LinkedIn to build your success. John has had a tremendous amount of experience and he's helped clients all over the world. His company, Ignited Results, is a digital marketing firm based in Reno, Nevada. John is not only a Forbes contributor and a contributor to entrepreneur.com, but he's been featured on CBS, NBC, Fox News, as well as ABC. And he's also a serial entrepreneur who's dedicated to helping you increase your results, build your influence, and generate sales through LinkedIn. So without further ado, let's welcome John James. Welcome, John.
Hey, Lynn, how are you?
Great. How are you doing today?
Very good. Excited to be here today.
I am really glad you're here. I know you've jumped a lot of hoops to get here, and I'm most appreciative. Gone through a lot today already, but you are going to be sharing secrets that I know everyone's going to appreciate. So the first question I ask everybody, it's in the back of my mind, is story, because that's how we all create relationships, through our story. I love pulling back the curtain, and I'd love you to share what led you to becoming the expert in LinkedIn. How did your story evolve?
You know, that's a great question. It takes my mind back. Basically, when I moved to Reno, Nevada from Los Angeles, I was new to the area. We had one person on our team locally who was a business development manager. And we decided, you know what, we're going to put on a seminar and introduce ourselves to the marketplace. So we did what a lot of small businesses do. We went to the Chamber of Commerce. We joined, we allowed them to promote, and we did some other basic promotion. Long story short, we had this big giant room set up and we were waiting for, 50 to 70 people to arrive. And lo and behold, we got 6 people. 6 folks walked in the room. 2 of them I had already known, and the other 4 were prospects. So we were pretty disappointed. And we said, okay, we have another event scheduled in about 10 days. And we didn't want to do radio because it was just too broad. And we knew we could run an ad campaign on Google, but we said, well, that might not be the best selection for long-term choices because it's a one-time event. And of course, SEO just takes way too long. So what we did was we went to LinkedIn and we began messaging people one by one. Right. And we got 63 registrations over the course of 10 days. And that was split between a Thursday evening event and a Friday afternoon workshop that we were doing about digital marketing. And that was really, the accidental way that we stumbled into LinkedIn. We started using LinkedIn more and more in all of our marketing. And then about 8 months later, we started actually doing it for clients. When one client had a product he was launching and he said, John, what would you do? I said, well, I would use LinkedIn and here's how. And Next thing you know, a year later, we've helped over uh, people in 50 different industries at that time. Now we've actually served over 100 industries.
Wow.
And we've, covered the gamut from coaches and consultants to manufacturers, helping authors create product launches. And that is actually how we were invited into the Forbes Agency Council, where I contribute on a weekly basis for anything related to digital marketing. So that's how we got started in LinkedIn.
That's very exciting. I love that story.
Thank
Really
you.
shows the power of LinkedIn. So I also love your company name, Ignited Results. Can you tell me how you came up with that name?
Yes, that's a rare question. So that's a good question, Lynn.
Oh, great.
And the answer is somewhat rooted in metaphysics and quantum physics. So there's a in the metaphysical world, there's a certain type of way that you think and a certain way of speaking, and we call it quantum speech, where you're speaking of something that you desire or something that you intend to create or experience, and you state it in the present tense, or if it has already happened. For example, you might say, my gosh, I remember my first million.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I remember my first $1 million year. That's
Right.
an example of using quantum speech. You're remembering, and when you give your brain that command, it's going to go, well, wait a minute. I think I need to create that first $1 million year. I think I need to help you arrange those sequence of events to experience. So our name, Ignited Results, has to do with having already delivered results, having already ignited our clients' results from day one when they come on board.
I love that. So you're bringing the future into the present.
Absolutely.
You're visualizing, and I totally believe that too. Whatever we believe, what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. So you're not making it in the future, you're making it happen right now.
Absolutely. So every client that comes on, we set their goals, their marketing objective, we set the plans, and we have already ignited their results from day one.
Wow. Well, just so everyone knows, I discovered John through an organization called CEO Space, and he was giving a presentation. I thought it was so powerful. I wanted to learn more, and I took one of his workshops, which was amazing. And he helps people not only through workshops, but privately. And he taught me something that he's going to share, I believe, with you today about your LinkedIn profile. I don't know if you want to do the share screen or not. It's up to you, James. John, I thought this was really fascinating. And I believe that a lot of business people don't realize the power of LinkedIn or even how to use their profile to attract new leads. So would you share with us your tips on the LinkedIn profile? Let me know if you want me to have you share your screen.
Sure. Actually, I
If you
wasn't.
want.
Sure. Actually, I can explain it without sharing, or I can share it.
Okay.
It
Either
does.
way.
Okay. So basically, when it comes to LinkedIn, if you're going to do any type of outreach on LinkedIn or any kind of marketing, before you do anything, you want to make sure that you at least start with a very powerful LinkedIn profile. And there are some optimizations that can be made inside of each LinkedIn profile. So what I'll do is, I think I will share screen.
I love you. You're my co-host now, so you can share screen.
Okay. So I'll take you guys inside of my profile so that you can see what a profile would look like once you have it all set up and optimized. So Lynn, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to take a look at your headshot and make sure that you have a headshot that is optimized in a very professional manner. I've talked to lots of people, and one day we had a meeting with a lady that we had met on LinkedIn, and we got on a Zoom call, and I didn't know who this lady was. So I said, oh my goodness, I thought I was meeting with one person and I must have gotten my calendar mixed up. This is a different lady.
Oh,
well,
no.
as it turned out, her LinkedIn profile had a photo that was 15 years old.
Oh, no.
So you can't do that, because if you're gonna use LinkedIn for prospecting, which is what we suggest, and if you're going to use it for generating leads and actually building revenue, which is something that we provide as a service and we teach people how to do, if you're gonna do that, one of the strategies people use is, they invite you from LinkedIn into some type of virtual meeting. Well, if you don't look like your headshot, you've already established distrust. Okay, so you want to make sure that you look the same. Go down to JCPenney's or Sears, give them $30, get an updated headshot. Now, the caveat to that is if your photo is really old, but you still look the same, then it's okay. I've seen that happen one time where a guy had a photo and it was about 8 years old, but he looked exactly the same. God bless him. He had not aged in 8 years.
Well, your picture looks just like you, so you immediately have established trust.
Thank you. Mine is, I'll confess, mine is about 3 years old, but
it's okay.
Yeah, if you can look roughly the same, then it will work. The next thing that you want to optimize is the background shot. So you see a background photo of me teaching. Mm-hmm. And the reason I selected that photo is because you want to show authority in your background image. Now, you can do that by creating a custom image. And if you have media stamps, for example, if you've been featured on ABC, Forbes, whatever the case may be, you can have those media stamps or those logos within the background section. If you are a speaker and you have pictures of you speaking to a small or a large audience, make sure you have it there. I mean, we have one client who there's a photo of her teaching in a coffee shop, but she's standing up and there's only 5 or 6 people in the shop. It's an action photo. It's very powerful the way it's featured. And you would look at it and assume that the audience was much larger than the 5 or 6 people that you see there. So make sure you have an optimized background photo, because that alone will give you a 24% higher increase in the amount of people that are revisiting your LinkedIn profile. Okay. And go ahead, Lynn.
No, it's excellent. It's so important. And then the description, this is something so powerful that I think most people don't recognize what they have in front of them. Would you share how to make your profile description irresistible, I'd say?
Sure. Now this is a tricky one. And if you get it right, my God, your prospecting and your results on LinkedIn can really be fun and amazing. So I'll take you through this piece by piece. There are 3 components to having an effective headline. Now, your headline appears right beneath your name on LinkedIn. That's your headline, okay? Mm-hmm. Or your description. Now, the first part of the headline is going to pretty much be, kind of the boring stuff, like your job title, right? Whatever acronyms you have, MD, if you're a lawyer, whatever the case may be, you're going to have your job title and your authority credentials there. The middle section of your headshot should talk about what you do for your target audience. Okay. Keep this in mind. You have to design your LinkedIn profile in such a way that it is speaking to the desired audience that you wish to do business with. That's who it has to talk to. So the third section of the headline should say something personal. Now, I'm going to go through my LinkedIn headline and explain each of the 3 components and why I chose them. And hopefully that will give you some tips that you can incorporate today, like right now, right? We want you to take action. So in the beginning, it says CEO of Ignited Results and LinkedIn expert, right? Very clear and straightforward. Those are your credentials and job titles. That's where they go. In the middle, it says, in between igniting leads and sales for clients on LinkedIn and speaking engagements. So it's telling you what I do for you. I am igniting leads and sales for clients on LinkedIn. It's telling you what I do. My other target audience would be event planners and such for speaking engagements. So I'm speaking to them right there in that middle section of the headline. The third section is I dive into meditation and a lot of green tea. Okay, so in between igniting leads and sales for clients on LinkedIn and speaking engagements, I dive into meditation and a lot of green tea. Now that's the fun part. The last part is the part that should make a person laugh or smile, or it should make them go, oh, I like green tea too, or oh, I like meditation too. What you're looking to do in that last section, and this is super, super critical. What you're looking to do in the last part of the headline is you're looking to establish rapport with your target audience. And here's what I mean. When I get messages from people on LinkedIn, if I reach out to them for a connection request, or if they send a connection request to me, they will often say, my God, I like green tea too. What kind do you drink? Or they will say, geez, I've always wanted to learn how to meditate. What kind of meditation do you do? And the second you begin answering that question or those questions, you're in immediate rapport with someone. You're not even talking business. You're just inside of instant rapport. And rapport is the very beginning of any sales process, right? You're never going to close the sale with your audience until at some point in the sales process, you become inside of a deep rapport with that person. So if you're reaching out to targeted prospects on LinkedIn and your headline is client facing, it's speaking to your target audience, and then you cap that off with mentioning something personal that your audience can relate to, now you have a target audience that you're in personal deep rapport with, and you've already set the stage for a sales conversation.
Exactly. This is why everyone should know. I have to brag about you, John. This is really brilliant because there is power in story. And what John has done here is created a story in just like 3 sentences. So he first says who he is. I'm recapping it so everyone can write this down so we all have a title. And I think most people just stop right there. They'll put their title and that's enough. But then what John has done is he not only is saying what he does, igniting leads and sales for clients in LinkedIn and speaking engagements, but John, you are giving the benefits. You're telling people what you do and providing benefits right in that one little segment. And then what I love too is, like you mentioned, you're building rapport because everyone has a personal life. And again, I think most people never think of putting something personal in their LinkedIn headline, but you do it so that when someone's glancing at it, they think, oh, wow, this person has some really interesting characteristics that I'd like to get to know more about. And so I actually went and changed my profile. We don't have to show mine now, but right after I learned this from you, I changed it immediately. And I looked at other people's profiles and most of them just have the title. So this is one major gem of information that you can all take with you right now and change and then see what happens. You're going to also share some other tips on engagement and how we can build engagement through LinkedIn. What would you like to share next about video? I thought that was really fascinating, how you use video or another area of LinkedIn. You decide,
Sure.
John.
Sure. And actually, Lynn, there's one more thing
Sure.
that I should probably say about the profile, which is when you're inside of, if you take a look at the about section of your profile,
Yes.
if you look at the about section, try to include some type of call to action there. That way it reads almost like a landing page. So down in the about section where people are going to read more about your company, you can have a link to your calendar, you can have a link to your website, or a link even to an ebook or something like that. So include that URL in the about section, and that way there's a call to action. If you treat the about section almost like it's a landing page where someone is going to opt in for your services, if you do that, what will happen is people will visit the profile. First, they're going to look at your headshot, right? They're going to peruse your headline and go, oh, this guy or this gal looks interesting. From there, they're going to go to the About section, and then boom, there is the URL to take them into your website or into a landing page. So think of LinkedIn as the top of the funnel for the customer journey. It's the top of the funnel. It's where they can become aware of you. It's where your prospects can become aware of you for the first time. And so you want to hook them right then and there and get them into your funnel. So have a link, a URL inside of the About section that will take them into some type of opt-in page or a calendar or an ebook or something where they can go deeper into your funnel so that you can begin to drip on them and follow up and have future communication.
That's a great tip. Great. So so everyone make note of that, call to action. Now you'll notice if you want to scroll down, there's something else that is on LinkedIn that I think a lot of people also don't take that much advantage of it, and that is the testimonial section.
Correct. In the featured section of LinkedIn, you can actually have media, you can have client testimonials, you can have links that click over to YouTube. So you want to use your featured section very wisely. If you have white papers, there can be a link right there in the featured section, and it clicks through to your white paper. If you have different publications that you have been featured in, place it there in the featured section. Video is critical. So you definitely want to click through to some type of video using the featured section of LinkedIn. Now, on the lines of video, you mentioned some of the video strategies that can be used with LinkedIn. And my gosh, there's so much that can be done. First of all, if you're using video inside of your prospect on LinkedIn, video gets a 54% higher engagement rate when compared to any other medium. So if you're writing someone a message or if you're sending them an audio message compared to sending them a video message, video is going to get a way greater response, a much higher response than you would ever get from a written message on LinkedIn. Okay. So
that's powerful.
Some of the platforms that we like Video Ask. Okay, Video Ask, ASK, videoask.com. We also like Dubb, DUBB, Dubb.com. And my third favorite would be Hippo Video, HIPPO, Hippo Video. Can
you explain more about what you do with those services that integrates with LinkedIn? Because I'm sure some people have never heard of any of these. Videoask.com, Dubb, DUBB.com, and Hippo.com.
HippoVideo.com.
Or Hippo Video, okay. So how do you integrate any of those services with LinkedIn?
Right, so basically, if you're using Dubb and Hippo Video are kind of the same. And I suppose I could go to their site to maybe just give you a visual. But Dubb and Hippo Video are very similar. Video Ask is different. So I'll explain the differences between the three.
Okay.
If you think of Video Ask as almost like a video walkie-talkie, right? It's a way to create asynchronous conversations with your target audience. So there's a messaging section on LinkedIn. And inside of the messaging section, if you look at my screen, I'm hovering over the messaging section here. And I'm not going to click on it because I might show some private messages from my LinkedIn audience and they might not appreciate that.
That's okay.
But I want people to know that if you go to the messaging section on the top menu bar and you click on messaging, that's where you can send one-to-one messages to your target audience, okay? Now, you can send a written message saying, hey, thanks for connecting with me. I'd like to get to know you further. But before we get into any of that, I see that you're in sales, and here's a great article I found about sales, right? And you share that with your prospect. You share something useful in the messaging section. Don't do what so many people do, which drives me crazy and everyone else crazy. Do not send a connection request and try to sell someone right inside of the connection request. And if someone accepts your connection request, do not follow up with a sales note.
Tell us why that's important.
It immediately turns people off, right? People want to feel nurtured. They want to feel engaged in an authentic way that speaks to them as an individual. So that's why I mentioned the example of the salesperson. If you're connecting to a salesperson and you're sharing an article with them about how they can increase their business and it's not promoting you at all, what's going to happen is they're going to look forward to future messages from you.
Right.
Now
you're giving them a benefit right away. You're just giving first. That's what's making it unique.
Exactly. Now, if you were to do this in the reverse and connect with that person, and instead of sharing something beneficial, instead, if you were to say, hey, I've got this great software for salespeople, and here's 7 reasons why you need it, they're not going to look forward to any that come in the future, right? And they may even block you from communicating with them. So you have to be very careful and use conversational-based sales techniques, such as share something useful, okay? The other thing that you can do for conversational-based selling is share a video. Share a video. And a video is a great way to introduce your product or service. And a video is also a great way to be of service, to just ask people, hey, do you need some help? So I'll give you an example.
Yes.
Videoask.com allows you to create a LinkedIn message or a video and place it inside of the one-to-one messaging that you see here on LinkedIn, okay? Inside of the one-to-one messaging. One type of video that you can make is called an AMA video, an Ask Me Anything video, AMA. Ask me anything. So that would be, for example, if I sent someone an AMA and they say, hey, I see that you're a keynote speaker, and if you're wondering how to leverage LinkedIn in order to get more keynote speaking engagements, or if you want to know the right way to connect with podcasters and get them to invite you to their show, if you want to learn how to score some big interviews, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm simply looking to be of value because we're connected on LinkedIn, and I really like to get to know my audience. So if you have any of those questions, click the button below. In your spare time, ask me by audio, video, or written message, and I'll get back to you when I can.
I love that. That's so unique. I think very few people do that. So that would make you stand out.
It makes you stand out. Many people are kind of wowed because A, they don't get a lot of direct one-to-one video messages that's speaking straight to them, right? So they're kind of taken away by just that alone. Like, my gosh, this guy made a video for me, you know? And then the second thing is, they're like, wait, he's not, what is he selling? He's not selling anything.
Right. It really,
you know, he's an expert. He's outlined his expert status within his LinkedIn profile, right? He's got his authority markers in his headline, so they're going to look you up. And then they're going to go, well, gosh, I can ask Lynn Sanders a question about story for free, and she's a master on storytelling. So they're going to take you up on it, right? And that is how you use that inbox. You want to work that inbox so that you're lining up key meetings with your target audience. You want to work that inbox so that you're connecting with the target audience, and then you're moving them from LinkedIn. You're gently moving them from LinkedIn into a one-to-one environment where you can eventually have a sales conversation.
It's so wonderful. You have so much information, you're a wealth of tips. And we could probably, John and I have just sometimes started talking and the time just flies by, and all of a sudden we blink and it's an hour goes by and it feels like 2 minutes. And I know it's so much to say. And I want to add a question which you may not have thought earlier that need to ask you, but I want to shine a light on what you're doing, because so many times people will think, oh, that's a great idea, but how do I implement this? What do I do? And you can take people by the hand and guide them. So I'd like to just shift the conversation for a moment to what your services are all about, because you've been giving and giving here. Tell us how you make it easier for people through your company to be able to achieve success through LinkedIn.
Sure. So what we do with our clients, we start with what we call a LinkedIn marketing canvas, where it's a one-page document. And inside of that one-page document, we lay out everything. We lay out who we're targeting, how we're going to reach them, what our offers are going to be, where we're going to send them. We map out the entire LinkedIn journey that our clients are using in order to both target their audience on LinkedIn and get that target audience to arrive at key meetings with our clients. So that's generally where we start. And then from there, we actually conduct all of the outreach. So we're going to go into your LinkedIn and literally connect with your audience and create conversations on a daily basis.
Wow.
We also walk you guys through like the video creation, scripting the videos for you, literally everything that's needed in order for you to be successful with LinkedIn. And for people that need us, we're here, Ignited Results. For other people, it's kind of like, hey, John, can you train my team? Can you train someone on our team to run our LinkedIn program? And we do that as well. And we also have a series of workshops and online trainings that are available for people to learn how to leverage LinkedIn on their own.
Right. And I know some people have asked you if you would address, can people have two profiles on LinkedIn?
That's a common question. I recommend having one. Oftentimes we get clients who have, two businesses, sometimes three businesses. And for some reason, they think there needs to be one profile per business, but there really doesn't need to be, multiple profiles. One profile and one about section within that profile can quite easily outline the different businesses that you're in. For example, in my profile, it's outlining different services that we provide, but in someone else's profile, it might be the different companies they are involved in.
Right.
Now, if you're concerned about things getting crossed up with your target audiences, there's not too much to worry about there, because if you're sending multiple messages per day to audience A, and audience A might be chiropractors, okay? That's segment one. And they're getting one consistent stream of outreach. Segment two could be all directors of nonprofits, right? One audience doesn't know that you're talking to the other. And they don't know that if you're connecting to the nonprofits, they're going to find a different part of your about section more interesting to them. And the chiropractors would find the other part of your about section more interesting to them. So it should be one profile speaking to multiple audiences. And that also will keep you within best practices with LinkedIn.
Excellent. So, and what you're saying too is you're going to probably customize the script, the outreach differently to one group than to the other group. So they're still getting a custom script, even though the about page encompasses both target audiences.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, you have a special gift, and I just learned about what it is today. So I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind to stop the share.
Okay.
So we're going to take you to a gift that John has created just for you. And I'm really excited about it because I know you're going to get lots of value. So I'm going to put up on the screen. Would you explain the gift that you are giving to everyone today, John?
Absolutely. So this is a free gift. It's special. It's for your audience, Lynn, as a way of saying thank you for listening. And this is something we actually don't give away. It's for a training that we provide. The training is not a cheap training. It's 2 hours. It's a very, very big deep dive into really getting your profile set up the right way on LinkedIn and just getting your foundation laid. So there are two things that will happen. Your audience can click on that link and it's going to take them to either a live training or the pre-recorded online training where they can access the training and go through it themselves.
Wow. So the URL, if you all can look at it, this is where you'd connect, ignitedresults.com/social, and you will see a price on that page, or at least I noticed one. But then what happens, John, when they click on it?
Right. When you click through to that particular page, if you're using this URL, ignitedresults.social, if you're using that URL, what's going to happen is once you go through the checkout, it will be free. If you're using any other URL, you would actually have to pay. So you want to use ignitedresults.social.
Yeah, I did. That's great. You know, as I said just a few minutes ago, when I talk with you, the time just speeds by, and I think that's because you've got amazing vibes. You have amazing energy. I think everyone can feel it. You're one of the most kind, caring, smart people I know in the world of digital marketing, and just as an all-around great person. So I want to thank you. And just as a final closing, is there some last words of recommendation or some parting words you'd like to leave with everyone that will be helpful for them?
Sure. I had a mentor, he's passed on now, but he used to always tell me, he would say, you know, John, success loves speed. Success rewards speed. Success rewards action. And so I would just say, if there's anything that you've learned today, take action and implement it inside of the next 24 hours. And not just with the information that you've learned today. Whenever you take a workshop or any course or anything, you know, take action, take your notes and take action inside of the first 24 hours. And if you make that, you know, a habitual part of who you are and how you operate, your life is going to be that much better.
Wow, I love that. Take action, take it now. You've got a chance to learn from John for free and get to learn more so you can build your business success. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, John James, for being an amazing leader. And I look forward to more times to learn from you, and all of you take advantage of this right now and you'll be glad you did. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a terrific day. Bye-bye.